think what we're aiming at is learning, strengthening the core. Move to the adjacent core and then go to box 3, if I can use that analogy. So if we don't close all the 3 today, we'll see how much we cover tomorrow. If we feel that we've covered 4 segments by tomorrow, hold on. We take another day in January. From our director's side, I will still sponsor it so that there are no costs. And we make sure that, at least on my side, we complete the extent that we have started. It's not complete like, let's just go home now, we know what to do. No, we have to review where we are heading. But those reviews, I will be coming in just maybe once in 3 months, so I don't know what else you are doing in the middle. And the result should be to strengthen you, but also to give me confidence that we are beginning to break out of a cycle that keeps us in box 1. Okay? What does session 2 tell us? Session 3 says, what is creativity? Look at your programs again, page 2. What is creativity? How do we nurture it across the various levels of a business? How do members of a team, that's of, not if, that's writing after 1 a.m. How do members of a team break out of self-harming thoughts and actions which impede creative thinking and productivity? What I used there is a surrealist. Surrealist means, if you Google it, working with abstract images. This thing has a lot of color, design. It's a piece of art that only if you go deeper beyond the level of food, housing, car, wife, you know the basics of our society, and then say, there's a higher purpose for me working in a company, and it is to change things. But also when I change things, what's the most important thing that people will remember me for? Was I here simply to consume, to marry, to produce children? Or was I here to surface problems of our industry, problems of our sector, and find solutions so that I am, you know that we all did mathematics. Who knows some principles in mathematics named after people? Archimedes' principle. Who was Archimedes? It's a Greek mathematician or scientist, right? We know the principle called the guy of Intel, what's his name? Who said the power of a computer chip will multiply, is it 10 or 60 times every 2 years? The Moore's law. I'm mentioning things I think you never research. All I am saying is that abstract images often show that you have gone beyond basics and you are really trying to dig and study more to be creative about your business, about yourself, about your country, whatever you're deployed to do. So we want to spend some time now speak about creativity. I think it will be our end of day today, if we can close it. And therefore, I would like that I start this session with this man, Salvador Dali. He's a surrealist. He is an abstract artist. Abstractness is meaning hidden in something that looks ordinary. You see, how many of you have children, if I can see your hands? Good. Your fathers and mothers. Now, remember that your 2-3-year child, when they get paint and paper, remember what they do? And how they mix the paint and it looks abstract? But do you know that they don't do it just for doing? There is a pattern. They are looking for brightness, color, tone. But they are too young to express the face of data I don't know why I call him data like technology. They are too young to express how your face looks. You've seen how they draw mommy and daddy? Like stickmen? That's a kind of abstract, but they are onto something. Huh? So creativity starts when we're young. Now this Salvador Dali man, he died in 1989. He was Spanish, and he specialized in, if you go online, you'll see abstract paintings, designs. So he painted an abstract image of John F. Kennedy, a bust, and I saw it in one of the universities, I think in July. And I kind of, in our lectures, and I picked interest. So he says, creativity is you systematically create confusion. How does anybody start with confusion to create, right? And that confusion sets creativity free. Isn't that a contradiction? Right? Everything that is contradictory does what? Does what? Now, think of where we started in the morning. You must have had expectations. I was very deliberate not to ask you, what do you expect out of this? What do you think we should achieve? No, let's just start. Some are saying, the usual lectures of Audrey and online, okay? Yeah. Others are saying, well, we're taking a day off. We're going to have a meal and, right? No phones. Oh, each one of us has the real expectation and then the stated one. Now, I am hoping that that was a bit of confusion and we're beginning to get somewhere of the meaning of this session. Paul is beginning to understand why he probably need not have wanted to present, because he said, now, you are bringing on lectures, I also have a lecture to present. I think that's, in a good way, that's what you intended. Eh? But all that was our confusion on how to deal with this issue. And Salvador Dali tells us a very powerful thing about creativity, that we should not worry about confusion. In there, we will begin to be creative. Huh? In other words, we should not worry about frustration. In there, we could find a way out. Huh? And I found it interesting because this is what life gives us. The way up is first where? You tell me how you can put up a 10-story building if you don't go down first. You've seen these buildings that crash? When you don't put in strong planning and good raw material, it may look nice outside, but it's really a shiny object that will crash under pressure. So by you guys spending time to do training, expose yourself to principles of management and leadership, and not feel that, me, I'm less educated than the manager, me, I'm this. Coming together and say, we can move to book 3. You are saying the way up is first where? Now, to find oneself, one has to do what? So if you are always selfish, everything is me, myself, and I, you are not of value. To find oneself is to lose oneself in something you love. Is to forget that tomorrow they will not remember that you are here. They will remember the things you fixed or what you solved, or they will look at the structural weaknesses of your industry and say, this guy or this woman made this difference. Now, to be of value, one has to abandon oneself. You know how oneself can be? I don't have a car. I don't have a good salary. I don't have a good house. And so I meet hundreds of people who are so focused on, I just want that. My prayer is that maybe that's young. At some stage, they should realize that when you abandon oneself, then you now begin to shed off what stops you from being useful to the business. Okay? Now, life presents contradictions like Salvador Dali tells us. And to be creative is to see life in full color. Full color is to go beyond the material, to the spiritual, to the biological, to the chemical, to the philosophical, to the ideological, to the technical, and now you have full life without inhibitions That's when the mind can be creative. Huh? So now I want you to know that nobody is devoid of being creative. Creativity is not for Lumac. It's not for these young boys with cameras. All of us can create. And all of us create every day, but we don't put structure around it. In our meetings, we are dealing with box one. If I take you back to the starting, box one stops us from seeing more where we should see. No, it makes us see less where we should see more. Are we together? Okay. Now, so in my opinion, I wanted to ask you, I don't want to prompt you, but what do you think creativity is? Rapporteur, just take your pen on that blackboard quickly. What is creativity? When we say creativity, what does it mean? Huh? Yes, Isaac?
Creativity is a tendency of recognizing alternatives, ideas, or possibilities that may be of use to solve a problem.
Okay. Alternatives, possibilities for ideas. Catch that. Who else?
I think creativity is about thinking outside the box. Thinking
outside the box. I don't want to call you rapporteur because I forget the name. What's the name again? Huh? Desire, like Lucinda. Huh? Okay, desire. Or Desiree in French. Eh? Okay, so desire is going to keep those. You'll put them back on paper for us in the final thing. Who else? Yes, data. Discovery. Desire, discovery. Agnes?
It's a tendency of imagining something or an existing thing, but in a new way or differently. Like having an original idea, different from the way others see or think.
Okay. So creativity is intertwined with innovation. Huh? When we innovate, it does not mean that we create spunky new things. We can get old processes and cast people's eyes to see things afresh. Right? I think that's what Agnes is driving at. Huh? So it's kind of like a sense of freshness or a new look at a problem, and then it becomes an opportunity. Yet, everybody thought it's not solvable. Okay? Anyone who has a different idea? Trying to keep up with time? So remember, there's a time human beings used to go naked. Then they invented fire. Then they began to roast and eat cooked food. When they ate cooked food, science tells us that we began to lose hair. Because we are near what? Fire. We are warming ourselves. So you see, people in Scandinavia, if you look at them, some of them are like woolen because it's cold. Eh? I don't know if there is a material, like science based on that, but we're told fire, eating meat, then we began to dress. Then it ceased being dressing, it became fashion. So now we've moved from fashion, we now leave brands. In that order, because it's no longer what you put on. It is whether it's a brand. Huh? So everyone is trying to fit into a brand. But the word brand started with cows. You brand animals so that you don't lose them. So you can take even a word that is associated with farm and animals and make it cool and chic, and everybody wants to have a brand. All that has been a creative journey by human beings. So create things. It's what? Now, if you get a company that has people who are imaginative, it's really good, eh? Because imagination is to say, I can visualize where we will be, And then I can begin to take steps to get there. So creativity is imagination. Eh? Does anyone like that word the way I like it? When you get a company full of unimaginative people, they stop every idea before it can see the light of day because they feel that, no, this one won't work. Not won't work because we've tested it, won't work because we don't know. We're not sure. We're risk averse. Some people think creativity is what? Huh? I had someone who said it's headache. It's headache because you have to think through what to do. Why can't I be an engineer who gets this piece of metal and connect it and put a nut and move? It's headache. You know how creatives, we call designers creatives or creative people, how they can take a piece of something and tear it and throw it away and come back and then get nothing and go and come back the next day. They're trying to get a brand name. That's how you should begin to see yourself if you want to be in book 3. You create, you destroy until you get to what works. You try until you get it right. Huh? Okay. Many see what? Creativity can be that many see less when they are supposed to see more. Even some people don't know what to see. Okay, that sounds really like weird. I don't know what to see. Yes, we can all look at that wall and I'll pick up many more things than you. That's why, criminal lawyers look for details in order to destroy the evidence of the other side. Because they know that your ability to see more is limited either by your experience or human nature. We can all go to, many of you must have, twagenze ne tuwulira omusajja ng'ayogera. N'omusajja yayogedde eki? Yayogedde. But what did he exactly say? Essaawa ezo bbiri ng'akyayogera. Omusajja ayogera. So ability to remember what was said and articulate it for people who are not in the room is very difficult. You need to be creative. We have sat here. How will you translate this for people you superintend over? It's creativity. You may not have Wawogo's words or style, but you should break it down for people to drink on it and use it, okay? Inspired, okay? So inspiration is creativity. Creativity comes from inspiration and vice versa. The more we are creative, the more we're inspired. The more we're inspired, the more we create. Right? It is subjective. Sometimes we're looking for logic. Remember the piece of art I started with? You saw that picture of Salvador Dali? What is the kind of mustache? It's like a cat. But someone will read and say, wow, this is cool. This is a nice way to do mustache. Okay? So the reason I like creativity, you can't say this is bad or this is good. But you can almost see poor creative team by the way they treat intelligence, offices, cars. So you know the meaning of the word aesthetic? The look and feel of things. Huh? There are people who are aesthetically blind. They work from an office, it's dirty. It's dull. But they are hoping to go to box 3. But what's around them tells you that these guys, there are shoes, there's bananas, there are rats, there's a computer, there are files, there's cobweb. Yeah, we are heading into box 3, but man, you are not even creative where you're seated. Now, I think I'm speaking to some people. Yeah, sure. So now when I walk into offices and I worry, I work in offices in both Port Bell. Well, I'm not working at Port Bell really anymore, but I walk into plot 13 and I see the team and what they have set up. I see aesthetic blindness. And I'm looking for young people who are aesthetically intelligent. The look and feel of things can show me what your thought pattern is like, okay? So I'm just pointing you to somewhere. Now, creativity is not money. No, actually money follows creativity. So many of you maybe have grown up in towns, and so my mother did not have a fridge. She did not have an oven. But she made this nice, very well-decorated pot, and she boiled her water. And she found a cool place on the ground behind her bed and covered it. And that water, whether it was like 25, 30 degrees Celsius, you've come from school, the water is cool and it's nice. And I still get, when I speak about it, I still, it's 40-something years ago, I still feel it. Huh? What was my mother doing? A creative way of solving thirst for her children. So it's not wealth. It's just training or opening your mind. Okay, even dressing. There are people you will meet, and I'm just talking to you now as managers, to understand that people who you meet, they judge external before they can judge. Now, when you open your mouth, you make it worse. They have still not decided what you are. And then you open your mouth and say, oh, where did Waboko get this one from? Huh? I don't want to. There are people I see, it's as if in the morning, he or she closed their eyes and went in the wardrobe and picked whatever was available and put it on and appeared in front of a customer. What on earth is this person trying to do? It's a professional company. So do you think I needed to wear a tie to come and teach today? But I'm forcing myself to treat this as a professional discussion.